You may have seen the international viral front page news story that was all over the nation. A 16-year-old student in a North Carolina school was suspended for 3 days after he used the term illegal alien in an English class. And today, I'm super excited. I get to talk to his mom and a lawyer because they are now suing the district. And let's hear what they have to say. So welcome, Leah and Dean. I'm so excited I get to talk to you today. This story was one of the most viral stories, I think, of the year. So tell me about what happened after that. How did you find out about it, about the suspension, and what was your reaction to it?
Sure. So my son was actually excused to go to the restroom during English class. Upon returning, he heard a conversation that some children were having with the teacher, and they were talking about aliens. So Christian raised his hand and said, spaceship aliens or aliens, illegal aliens who need green cards. The teacher then told Christian, watch your mouth. The Latino child in the class turned around to Christian and said, I'm going to kick your, you know what. Apparently, another girl in class kind of started instigating some, her thoughts into the whole conversation. And so it escalated to where the teacher had to call administration because it caused a class disturbance. Admin came and pulled both boys and the teacher into the hallway, where both boys agreed that the exchange was innocent and that the Latino child said he was joking. He didn't mean anything. Christian also said, I took no offense to what he said. Upon his explanation to the assistant principal saying that I can find this term in the dictionary, he said, I hear it when my parents are watching the news all the time right now. The assistant principal still refused to hear what he was saying, wrote him up, and the write-up says that Christian made a racially insensitive and racially motivated comment that offended his Latino classmate. Christian was suspended for 3 days, out of school suspension. He missed several important track meets, and the label of this suspension is racism, even though illegal alien is not a race.
So I think part of what's so shocking about this is the U.S. government uses that term. Did you bring that up to the school at all? Did your son mention that? And what's your thoughts on that?
His father and I both, when we met with the principal, brought that up. We pulled it up on our phones and showed him the term in the dictionary. Nothing, there was no resolution, none. There was no getting through to him. He had his mind made up, and he actually, in our meeting, equated what Christian said to using the N-word.
So now your son has a suspension on his record for quote unquote racism. How is that going to affect the rest of his schooling and college? What are his aspirations, and is this going to damage that?
It's already damaged his schooling. Christian was called a racist. We have since pulled him from that school because he was receiving threats. So it's already affected him. I requested to the head principal to remove the label of racism after the assistant principal refused. The head principal said that she was not willing to remove the label, but she would write him a letter of recommendation for colleges. So I was confused by that. You're not going to remove the label that assaulted his character, but you're willing to write a letter of recommendation for quote unquote a racist. So I was very confused by that. We respectfully declined her offer, and President Trump, a few days later, sent Christian a letter of recommendation for schools.
Wow, that's incredible. From what I understand, you're now taking action against the school. You're suing them. Dean, tell me a little bit about the center that you work for and about this lawsuit.
Sure. So Liberty Justice Center is a nonpartisan, nonprofit litigation firm. We're a civil rights focused firm. So First Amendment, government, overreach, government abuse of rights, really, you name it. In this case, right? You have the government branding this boy a racist, depriving him of his right to education for 3 days, depriving him of his right to participate in track, and telling him you have no avenue to appeal.
And Dean, what are you hoping to achieve from this lawsuit?
I'd say there's kind of two pieces. One is clearing his name, to have the court correct this record of 3-day out of school suspension for racial comment. And we're also asking for damages.
So, Aaliyah, I'd love to hear from you. How has your son been handling all this publicity?
At the beginning, it was very difficult. When the news broke and it went international, Christians started receiving threats, not only locally, but also from Illinois, from other states, because they considered him a racist. We as a family were reading comments saying that children are a reflection of their parents, and so therefore we must be teaching him racism. As firm believers in Jesus Christ, we follow the teachings of a man who taught love, respect, understanding, forgiveness, and that is the furthest thing that we would ever do, is instill racism in our child. We fight against that in every way, shape, or form in our family. Christian is not living in the home with us, and he has not been here for the past 4 weeks due to safety issues, just because we were taking these threats credible. The day after Christian was suspended, the very next day, there was a bomb threat that canceled school. So we made the choice to have him live away from home right now. He is enrolled in homeschool, an incredible homeschool that my sister runs, and he's thriving now. Yes, he did have threats, but the amount of support he's received it blows our mind. Senator Carl Ford has been amazing, as well as former President Trump, and his support for Christian. And to have that, a president send you a letter of recommendation and invite you to meet with him, that meant the world to him.
And Leah, has your son received any kind of retaliation from the school following the initial story at all?
From the school? No.
Yeah. Okay.
No contact.
But Leah, you might want to talk about retaliation that you faced if you want to.
Sure. So after the Newsmax interview with Chris Salcido was aired, the chairman of the Board of Education, who has yet to return my email asking for help in this matter, and another board member, Ashley Carroll, looked up my personal arrest record from 14 years ago. 14 years ago, I was in my 20s and I struggled with opioid addiction. I was arrested. I was charged with attempted trafficking. I was sentenced to 6 years, served 4 years, released early. And since that time, upon my release, I have been appointed by a superior court judge in Brunswick County, North Carolina, to serve on an advisory board for their commissioners on substance use disorder. Because of what they did, my mugshots and my record were sent around Christian school. And I can't even tell you what it's done to me as a mother to see my child hurting for something that I did. Their negligence in, looking this stuff up and then asking the public and local leaders to share that absolutely blew my mind. I could not believe how low they stooped.
What would your message be to parents who might find themselves in a similar situation, who are fighting with schools over the targeting of their children or over their First Amendment rights and getting all this national attention?
Never stop fighting for your child. If we do not stand up for our children, what are we teaching them? We're teaching them to submit to an authority that does not have their best interest at heart. But I would encourage you, never stop fighting for your child, because they're watching and they're learning. And we are raising a generation that has the ability to stand up for their rights as Americans. Our children are blessed to be born in America, and my son knows that. But he also needs to be educated of the rights that he has as a blessing that he was born in this fine country.
Dean, where can people find out more about you and about Liberty Justice Center and support this lawsuit?
So again, our organization is Liberty Justice Center. You can go to our website at ljc.org. Follow us on Twitter at LJCenter, and my personal Twitter is Dean M. McGee.
Thank you so much to both of you for joining, and we will continue following this story and provide updates.